Hrithik, Roshan from me, Hrishi and everybody at Radio 1. Thank you so much for being the fulcrum, the most important platform for Youth Icon.
It's an honor, yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to start with your journey to being the youth icon that you are today. I'm given to understand that you really worked up the ladder the hard way. You worked in your own production house, assisted your dad. Some people say you even swept the floors, did everything that, ADs do. So talk about those early years, the graduation from a child star to somebody who's a part of your production house.
First of all, I'm not very comfortable talking about my own journey in a way that glorifies it as a struggle, because I choose to actually represent my past in my own mind as something that was very positive. I think we, instead of propagating to our youth, we should not propagate the ideology and sell it to children, the youth, that your life is going to be difficult, it is going to be a struggle, it is going to be hard. पहले से ही अगर if we, it can become a kind of a burden, it can become a kind of a downer. There has to be a positive angle to it. So I would like to view all my moments as moments of growth. Like your entire life, happiness is purely just growth. You have to keep growing, keep learning. The moment you learn something new, even if it is like a new app on your iPhone, something that's like added to your life, you've grown. It could be a musical instrument, it could be whatever. I mean, even connecting with a stranger, learning something new. Your entire journey is about growth. Now, to be in a state of growth all the time, it is a necessity to accept uncertainty. Wherever there's growth, there is uncertainty. Growth cannot happen in a space of security and complete certainty. Whether you're learning an instrument, you are putting yourself out there. You're going to make mistakes. You are going to falter. It is not going to be secure. So you have to start teaching people to accept the uncomfortable. Enjoy being uncomfortable, because that is your access point. Whenever you're uncomfortable, your spirit will search. It will search and it will help you cross that line into that line of that space of creativity from where you can grow even more and contribute to the world. When you contribute to the world, that is when all the things that you want come back to you. Don't run after fame. Don't run after money. Don't want to have the biggest bungalow with a pool. Don't want those things. Just know that you have to wake up every single day, every morning, and take the responsibility that you will have a great day. The only way to have a great day is to have certain accomplishments, certain victories, not major ones, even minor ones, because all those are a part of your growth. That's all you have to do, step by step, and I think that's what I did, little by little. I didn't know at that point of time what I was doing, but there was something guiding me. I was searching for something, and that is what I think sort of egged me on every single day. But I did it out of fear. Fear is a very good tool. It's an amazing tool. But I would rather that my children learn how to harness that fear so it doesn't become something that numbs you, but in opposition to that gives you wings. My fear was so great that it used to numb me. I used to be very, very scared. I'd rather my children do it out of love, and I think that is very possible, because I have learned how to do it for love. I have learned how to accept the uncomfortable, the uncertainty, enjoy it, let yourself go, know that you're guided, believe, have faith that something is guiding me. Know that there is goodness inside, because your intentions are good. Every human being's intentions are good. Every single human being wants only one thing all the time. Everyone is only trying to feel good. So हम जो भी कर रहे हैं, whatever we are doing, whether we get angry, whether we give the silent treatment, or we shout at someone, or we get jealous, whatever we say and do, our intention in the end is actually just we're all trying to feel good. We just don't know how. So most of us use negative vehicles to get there, like the ones I just mentioned. But there are positive ones also, which is what I would want my children to learn.
One of the youth icons you're going to talk about is Saina Nehwal, and how her dad gently nudged her into the right direction. Did that happen with you? Did your father do that? Because you were very young. Like you said, you were dictated by fear. So to work with him, what's the biggest growth of being Rakesh Roshan's assistant director?
Tremendous. The impact of that, I think, shaped a lot of my identity. But a lot of that I also had to break, because it was born out of fear. My father, as a lot of our fathers, most fathers in fact, like my father, have reached a point in their lives, they've achieved success out of a very long and hard struggle, rags to riches stories. So there is a sensibility there that always looks towards securing oneself, whether that means spend less, save more. There's a right thing, there's a wrong way, and there's a right way, and the right way is the hard way, and you have to keep having a good time is not allowed. You just have to keep working. So a lot of that is right, a lot of that is wrong. I had to break a lot of that. I learned from my father. He taught me by example. He never sat me down and he never spoke to me. So his teachings were learnt by me as an observer. I saw him struggle. I saw him struggle really, really hard. I saw him fail. I saw him rise. I saw him fail again. I've seen my mother standing by him. I've seen how the equations of marriage, work in the dimension of success and failure, and what one needs, the strength one needs to give. It taught me a lot of things, but I think most of all, what it taught me was we all must strive to be givers, providers, self-sufficient, independent human beings. And I say that as emotionally, because that is where most of the weak links, when a man breaks, it happens because of the emotional reasons more than the situation. The situation is never really make or break. A film fails, a film runs, but the impact and the interpretation of that situation for that particular individual emotionally is what can completely destroy him. So if your father has told you that whatever you're creating, if you fail in that, then your life is over. And if you've built up your entire life because of those words, and if that one thing fails, you'll actually think your life is over. But it's not the truth. So those are the things that I have learnt beyond what my father taught me. And I'm as grateful and thankful as I am. I'm also grateful that I have developed a way to kind of balance those teachings in a newer, fresher, brighter, lighter way, which is a happier, way to be. It's not important to get things right. Being right is not what life is about. You have to just be. Whether that's right, wrong, it doesn't matter. You have to be. Your intentions have to be good. And with your victories, you will reaffirm the good things. And with your mistakes, you will learn how to not make them again. That's, both lead to growth.
Youngsters sometimes with too much adulation are not able to remain centered. In the West, we've seen how Macaulay Culkin and Britney Spears have all been through upheavals. At the peak of Kaho Na Pyar Hai, now you're a little more of an actualized soul, but at the peak of Kaho Na Pyar Hai, when all that adulation came to you and swept you off your feet, how did you remain centered from a youth icon's perspective? Talk about that.
I think I got lucky. Because honestly, I didn't believe it. I didn't have the strength to believe it. In fact, what most people considered as humility, most people looked at me and said, "You're such a nice guy, he's so humble. He's such a big star. He's so humble." Honestly, it was not humility. I think it was more, which I accept now and look upon now as my growth stage. It was actually weakness. It was fear. It was really being scared that shit. All these guys think that I am that guy. I'm that good. I'm not that good. What if they find out? I got lucky because I went into hiding. I became the nice guy. I became the pleaser. So what your question is a very important one, because barring my case, I think there are so many cases where, you get too much of the adulation and too much of attention and it goes to your head, as they say. So to that, I would say that one must always consider his worth by how he makes others feel. That's one, of course. But let's see if that works. This is what I keep saying, that, I judge how great I am by the people in my environment, and how nice and what I can contribute to them. When I leave the room, are they left with a feeling? Are they inspired? Are they touched? Did I contribute something to them in their lives? But it's very easy to fall into the trap of wanting more of that feedback. So when you contribute in such a big way, your first film becomes a big blockbuster like mine did, and then the adulation comes in so many ways and it's all around you. You start missing. You get blind, and you only see the result. You're seeing the result. You're seeing the people screaming. You're seeing all that. And some people somewhere, I think, forget that wo paane ke liye, they actually went through a lot of, there's a process there. There were days and days and hours and of mastery, of trying, striving for excellence. And that is what one loses sight of. I think right now, this is how I'm trying to analyze what happens, and I think that is sad, but it's also not intelligent. I think it's just you have to be a little stupid to allow it to go to your head, because if you've lived enough life, you realize that you are only as good as your present moment where you are right now. Are you being that person right now? Yes, I have done amazing work. I have done some great films. I have all the cheer, and the applause wherever I go. But right now, when I'm sitting in this room on this sofa with a bad back and talking to you, Rishike, am I being present here? Am I adding to your life in some way? Am I easing into the moment? Am I physically comfortable here? Am I growing with you? So I mean, that is where your life is. So I'm very aware of that, and that's the flow. If I can be aware and physically comfortable with you right now, and while I'm talking, I can also be as physically comfortable and aware and giving and contributing in front of the camera. It's kind of like riding that wave when you surf. It's like it's moving all the time. The only way to actually live the right way is to ride the wave, be on top of it and move with it, along with it all the time. If you sit and start thinking that how will I do this, and how did I, what happened in the last wave, talking in terms of a surfer now, you're going to miss the wave, so you just have to keep riding it all the time.
This is not to glorify your struggle. Youth Icon, the show is about people learning from how you overcame them. When you were diagnosed with scoliosis, again, at a young age, it's okay for somebody like me. I'm a radio presenter. I sit in front of a mic. Your job is a physical job. I mean, I look at you dancing and the kind of stunts that you do. What did you tell yourself at that point of time when you were diagnosed with a back condition and you had to pick up the pieces of your life and indulge in this physical profession of yours?
I felt very I think I felt anger first. It turned into sadness. Then it turned into like a betrayal. I felt betrayed by God. I started asking questions, existential questions. My childhood was quite kind of filled with these kinds of dark spaces, with my speech problem and my physical problem. Because I had a speech problem, I thought I would make something out of my physical self. Then I realized that my physical self was equally weak and broken. So I basically I didn't know where to look. I just thought it was not fair. It was just not fair, and got me very, very, very angry. But again, something in me, the fear of failure was too strong. I just knew that I had to, do something for my speech. I used to just, take a voice recorder and sit in the room, lock my room, and just keep recording my voice for like hours and hours and hours. And I would mostly practice that one sentence only. I used to keep saying it like a madman, and recording it and playing it back, understanding, if I talk slower, the other person can't really make out that it's slow. Because when I'm hearing myself back and I'm actually thinking I'm talking a bit too slow, it's still working. So I can use that. So aise karte I should then go out of the room, and I had made one sentence that I will go out to the world and test, whether it is to my cook to cook me some dish, or whether it's a phone call, some random thing. So I did these mad things, something just that. Yeah, but yeah, I know it was fear. It was fear. So I think fear is a good thing. It's a good thing to an extent. To an extent, it's good. Somewhere, some things must have been instilled in me by my parents that balanced out that fear with some kind of belief. Maybe it was, my dadi's words, who she kept saying that this boy is going to be a great boy one day. Words like that, positive affirmations that you hear from people. You read a quote somewhere, or you formulate one ideology in your own mind, that makes you get a sense of the world around you, gives you a kind of a model of the world that you can work with, so you build your own equations. At that time, I built my own equations. I said, I used to keep saying that the finest steel has to go through the hottest fire. So it became my model of the world. And then when I was going through the fire, I felt great because I knew that I was going to come out even finer. So things like that help you. Of course, you have examples all over the world. Even at that time, you see a film like a Triumph of Spirit film, you hear about other people's struggles, and very soon I got down to asking just one question, and I kept repeating that question, and all the answers I got from that question shaped my destiny. I kept asking myself at every situation that brought me down. I kept asking myself, how do I make my story the greatest story ever told? I already have the first few chapters. My first few chapters are great. As a child, I had all these disabilities and etc etc etc. I have the first few chapters. I have to continue. I can make this the greatest story ever told. Now this of course can be interpreted in a negative way also, where some people might want to manifest hardships so that they can have a great story. But no, that's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that because my journey started out from a dark space, I used this question, I used this sentence, and I got great answers. So I think what we need to learn most, I think, is to ask good questions. At a time when, even when, like, small things, like when you're bored or you have nothing to do, you're not feeling good. Instead of, your brain is an organ. You need to know how to control it. If you just ask good questions, like, what can I do right now to make myself feel good? Your brain will shift into getting you answers. Your focus will shift. Instead of focusing on, I'm not feeling good. If you keep saying that sentence in your head, you'll continue not to feel good. There's no way out. And you'll keep waiting for somebody else to enter your environment. You'll keep waiting for the God to give you a sign. It's not going to happen. You have to be self-reliant. You have to be self-sufficient. You have to be independent. You have to learn how to fill your tanks up by yourself. So asking good questions is one way out. Instantly, your focus will change. And your brain, your spirit will hunt for answers. And you will get them in a matter of minutes, if not seconds. You will get them. It's not possible that you won't.
As a young man, apart from fear being a motivating factor, I have a sneaking suspicion that you had some crazy faith in things working out. Again, rewinding to the much younger Hrithik, there was a string of failures, and then K3G happened. Post ka hona pyar hai. So apart from fear being a motivating factor, was belief, was faith, another emotion that made you ride that particular wave through those strings of flops?
Yeah, for sure. I have a strange, not strange, in fact, it might sound strange, but I have a particular view of the world. I project my world. The world that I live in is made up by me, by the way I interpret it. So I actually live in a beautiful world, with the pain and with the suffering and with the pain and because suffering is a choice. With the pain and the weaknesses, the failures, whatever, etc., and the good. I live in a beautiful world because that's how I interpret it. So I have a faith that I can manifest whatever I desire, whatever I can see in my head, I can manifest. And this I learned through dance. Whenever I could not do a step, in the night when I used to sleep, I used to literally see myself in my mind doing the step, and I think I could feel the steps. I could feel how my muscle was being triggered by my mind while I was seeing my steps. Exactly, every cell in my body was doing the step, but I was lying down. And I could see it so clearly that the next day, even without an extra rehearsal, I could do the step. And I used to wonder how. And slowly it became very apparent that I was actually envisioning it. I was seeing it so clearly in so much detail that I was manifesting it. And I then started to apply that to every other thing I did in my life. What you see does not really exist until you give it, the meaning that you want to give it. So even in science, there's a table in front of us right now, and it looks completely solid. All the molecules are, really stuck together, so bound so tight that it becomes a solid material. But in actuality, it is more space than atoms, because each atom is more free space than what makes up its insides. So there is more air, more space. This table should not exist, actually. It should not be there. It's just the way my brain is perceiving it. So things like that. Even if you look at it through science, everything that you see, life is more than what meets the eye. Basically, it's more than what meets the eye. Because I believe in that, I am able to take those leaps of faith. I am able to I'm able to become fearless. I am able to focus on the brightness and focus on the victory even before it happens. And I can see the outcome and the objective being achieved so clearly that when I'm there, when I'm doing it, I have to achieve it because I have seen it in my head. I've seen the people's reactions already. I have lived it already, and then it just manifests. It becomes. It sounds kind of magical and etc., but actually it's as simple and real as mathematics. If you can see it, you can do it. Simple. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4.
One is taking knocks yourself, and the other is seeing knocks being given to loved ones and family. I marvel at the fact that a youth icon like Virat Kohli would lose his dad while batting, and being able to focus on that. You went through a phase when your dad had been shot. I'm sorry to take you to a dark place, but again, that must have been a very crucial test of you as a youngster. Did you live each day at a time, moment at a time? Were you just too confused at that point of time to think? How did you come out of that particular crisis?
I was younger then, and I adjusted to that situation like any other son would in my situation, or any other person would. But I love the way I interpret it now, because I'm wiser now, and I have learned to understand that the world is not supposed to be fair. It's not supposed to be fair because it's more fun like this. It's more fun to it's like, why do we love roller coasters so much when they are risky? They take you upside down. They instill fear. You're screaming like 90% of the time. You're just like shrieking. You don't want to almost like get me out of here. But you want to be on that roller coaster. Because you know that when you come out of it, there's a sense of victory. There's a sense of an experience, that a sense of thrill, and it's unpredictable. You don't know the next turn. You don't know what's going to happen. You're about to you're going upwards, then slowly, and then you're just like left, and you're just like falling down, and then you're taking these loops, and that's life. That is what life is. Now, roller coaster you've chosen to be on. So when you're on it, you don't complain. What if your life is just like a roller coaster, but the condition was, before you took this ride in this theme park called the world, before you took this particular ride of life, the condition was that when you sit on this ride, this roller coaster ride called life, you will have no memory that you have chosen this. What if we have actually chosen this ride, this roller coaster ride called life, which is not fair, which is uncertain, it's got all this crazy stuff going on, chaos. What if we've chosen it? But we don't have any memory of the fact that we've chosen it. So this is my model of the world. Somewhere, I chose to go on this ride. And I wanted to, because it's going to be so uncertain, unpredictable. And I have to fight my way through it. And if I do, there'll be a great victory. And, the exhilaration and the thrill, all that. I want to experience it just like I want to in a theme park, in a normal roller coaster. This is the roller coaster of life. It's called life. Big condition, but I will have no memory that I actually chose this ride. So that's where we are right now. That's how I interpret it. And when my father got shot, the way I see it now, unpredictable, uncertain, not fair, all those things. But it taught me a lot of good things as well. It taught me that shit happens. Bad things can happen. What are you going to do? And I decided that I will never allow any single problem to get me down, ever in my life, for more than 10 minutes. Because there is life after every single tragedy that you think is a tragedy. There is a life, and there is a way to learn, grow, and then contribute back to the world that will fill you up back again so amazingly and so beautifully. And that's the day you'll understand that was the purpose, that was the meaning, that was the journey. So I learned a lot of good things. I learned to be self-reliant, dependent on just myself, and decided and learned how to create my life the way I want it to be, around myself.
I find the older I get, the less risks I'm taking, because I'm thinking wife, daughter, parents. Younger people are able to take more risks. How is it in your life? As you're older, have you become less of a risk taker, or are you still taking those risks now and then? Or do you push yourself to take those risks?
I look at myself as somebody who has to be an example for my children. In whatever I do, I keep them at the back of my mind. So I take even more risks now, more dangerous risks. I'm not talking about being stupid in stunts. I'm not talking about the physical risk. I'm talking about the emotional and the mental risk of putting yourself out there in front of the world, allowing yourself a risk of failure and growing with that, achieving victory there on that platform. That is true victory. That is the true risk. To have a dream and take it forward. Let yourself bare. Let your true self out Say what you want, be what you want, and do as your intentions guide you without fear. If that is, having to go up on stage to give a speech for somebody else, but Arey yaar, I'm not prepared. Arey yaar, I have to look good. Arey yaar, no, I need more time. No, as an example to my children, I'm going to take this risk right now. I'm going to imagine the outcome of smiling faces and people I have made so happy, and that'll guide me. And I go step on that stage, and I start talking. It's never happened that it's not worked. That's the beauty. That's the risk that we must take. The risk to grow in every. This is just one example, but we all are conditioned by certain practices that we think we can't break. That is the risk. That is where you should take the risk. Break those patterns. You can change and be the person, the ideal that you want to be. You can be your best self, the best version of yourself. You can be that. For that, you have to break patterns and build new patterns. My pattern tells me I have to practice. मैं स्टेज के ऊपर अगर जाने वाला हूँ तो मुझे एक दिन दो. I will prepare my speech, etc., and go and do a great job and come back. Safe life. I don't do that now. I just walk. You want me to do something, I will just walk in and I will do it, and I will risk failure, and I'll be happy for it.
Fitness as an attitude for young people. I see a lot of people who are into expanding the mind, which is meditation, some kind of yoga sadhana. They actually look down on people who go to the gym and exercise and things like that. The other end of the spectrum, there are the gymaholics, who are into fitness. You feel everybody needs to adapt fitness as an attitude, as a way of life. Talk about that. You've embraced that wholeheartedly, because there was a time when you had put on a lot of weight in between, and there was lots of newsprint about how you became from flab to fit. So talk about physical fitness.
6-pack abs, 18.5-inch biceps. That is fitness for most of us. But I really want to say this, that there is only one kind of fitness. There is only one kind of fitness, and that's mental fitness. It's the mental muscle that you have to build. And you can build the mental muscle in every moment, every single moment. You can keep building. As I said, it's about growth. And if you give me an example, so say you want to build a body, what's going to make you build the body? Yes, going to the gym, lifting weights. What's going to happen when you're too tired? What's going to happen when there is, a party? When you have to make other people happy? What's going to happen when your heart is broken? What is going to happen when you have certain other problems and situations and, etc., etc.? What's going to happen then? Yeah, you want a good body. You know how to do it. Lift weights, run, do yoga, etc., etc., etc. So what eventually are you going to need? You're really actually only going to need your mental focus. Learn how to take strong decisions, follow through, and not do it by complaining. If you tell me, I have a routine, I work out every single day, but on days when I have 3-4 other things to do which I can't avoid, I am not going to do those 3-4 things, and while doing those things say, shit man, I have to do this thing, but I'm missing my workout. No, I will do those 4 things and I will work out. Because who's stopping me? What is stopping me? The clock? One piece of metal will stop me from manifesting my life and my destiny and my desire? No, man. I don't work by the clock. I can do everything that I need to do, and I can do it in my own sweet time. Most people, when they want to build a body, they want it to fit into their lives. They want के जिम का एक मतलब वो फिट हो जाए कहाँ मैं how do I fit this into this jigsaw puzzle of my day? यहाँ पे 5:30 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. This is the time I'll work out then. And you start following that routine. It is going to break, because life is, as I said, it's unpredictable. You're not going to be able to make it at that time, and when you're not going to make it at that particular time, or for days at a time because of some reason, what are you going to do then? Give up? Then complain, and then ask again, how do I build a good body? All you need is that brain of yours, and you have to use it, learn how to use it. So there is only one kind of fitness. Let me come back to what I was actually trying to say. There's only one kind of fitness, is the mental fitness. And to do that, to build on that muscle, you have to use your everyday situations, break patterns, use your there's certain things that you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to sit and think about what could have been, what should have been, what would have been. You have to just do. So I, for one, I don't allow myself to do that. I do it. It starts. And the moment my hand comes up to my cheek or my forehead, when you start thinking, your hand goes into that posture. The moment that happens, there's a kind of a buzzer. I just stop. I say, oh shit, I don't want to go down there. I'm going to do something. I'm going to get up, have my shower, and I'm going to do something. So just changing your posture is also enough. You'll get good thoughts.
Brain surgery. I believe you went on to the operating theatre with a smile on your face. How did you bounce back from that one? That's a great youth icon story for me.
That was a tough one. And it was actually my most effortless one. It's quite a paradox, actually, because it really sounds like as if, my God, it's the brain, man. I mean, say my mother was going through that, I'd be, in another state or any loved one. But the fact that I was going through it, I remained so objective and so clear in my head. By that time, I had learnt enough from life. I said that, okay, this is a situation. I'm going to do whatever I can do that's in my control. What's in my control? Educate myself as much as I can, find the best doctor, and that's it. Then I can relax. So as soon as I got to know what the situation was, I did not feel any fear because my objective mind just triggered, and I got on the net and I started to read about the problem, about a blood clot in the brain. I read for about 2 hours. Then I got a list of doctors. I sat in my car and I went and met each doctor one by one, chose the one who actually was in the best state, who didn't really actually give a shit about who I was. And I said, yeah, that was quite funny. Yeah, and then once I had done what was in my control, then I relaxed. I literally relaxed. I allowed my friends to come to the hospital and contribute to the fun that we were having. I don't know, I was just so objective, and it taught me a lot of things. I was singing, so I made the nurses sing, in the operating room, and took pictures, told my family doc to take a video. So I couldn't understand the logic in feeling the fear. By that time, I had lived enough to understand that that fear would only be an assumption. And by that time, as a rule, I had stopped any assumptions in my life. I'm not going to assume anything. If you're looking at me in a particular way that makes me assume that, oh, you either like me, you don't like me, I am not going to assume. If you tell me you love me, I will take it as that you love me. He loves me. Finished. No assumptions. So even on the operation table, I only went by evidence. Evidence was what? That out of 1,000 or 10,000 operations, 1 or 2 have had a kind of a tough experience with it. That evidence was enough for me to be logically happy. Okay, it has to go well. Because with a 1%, with a 99% positive track record, why will I assume that I'll be in that 1%? It's stupid. So my logical mind said, I'm going to be fine because 99% is the success rate. So I had a ball, yeah. I had a great time.
The Mountain Dew commercial. You're poised at the entry of what is a tufan, or a thunderous situation, a typhoon, and you decide to go ahead. Is that the way your life is right now? When you reach tumultuous situations, you think and say, I've reached this far, I'm going to go ahead. Talk about that. Was that one of the reasons you picked the commercial? It's quite an interesting one.
I particularly like the commercial because of the camaraderie between the boys, the connection between these friends, and a dream that these friends have dreamt together. And then whatever comes in front of them as a barrier holds no strength between them and their goal. I love that model. I adhere to it. I like it a lot. But am I the kind who, as I said, I'm very logical. I'm not going to ride into a storm that is very apparently going to kill me. Simply put, if there is imminent danger like fire or storm, it's physically there. That fear that you feel is real. You're supposed to feel that because it's survival. You gotta get away from there. That is good fear. But the storms and the turbulence and the hurricanes that the mind projects in the future. Okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? That fear is stupid. That is our problem, because it's only in the mind. If you can focus, some of us can focus very strongly on storms like that, which don't exist, which could happen. My philosophy became that if I can focus so much on what can go wrong, what I want to experiment. I'm an explorer by heart. I'm an adventurer. I'm an explorer. I want to travel. I don't want to be a tourist. I want to travel. I want to grow. I want to learn. So I told myself that as an experiment, can focus so strongly on something that's negative. What will happen if I can focus that strongly on something that's positive? What if I see an outcome that's mind blowing? What if I see something that is unachievable but I can see it? What will happen then? I want to find out. And I went ahead and I found out. It works. It bloody works. If you focus on the problem, you will attract the problems. You focus on the objective and the outcome. You see the outcome as if you're actually there. Not even seeing yourself, but seeing what you would see if you were there. If you see it that clearly, you'll actually your spirit will go towards that. It'll manifest it.
Let's talk about your sporting connection. You believe in support for the Paralympics. Also, you're now supporting a football team. Do you play some sport yourself? Talk about that.
Life is the best sport, man. It can teach you everything that you need to know. But sports itself is, I think, very, very essential. Not because it allows you to get physically fit or makes you have a good time, but it teaches you a lot of things, a lot of good things. It teaches you what strength of character is, how to be a team player, how to allow other people in the team to help you excel, how to work under pressure, how to apply discipline and to see the results of that. So all these things happen in teamwork, in sports like football, and etc., etc. So I really am very happy that I got a chance to be a part of it in such a big way. I'm a co-owner of the Pune FC, and having that part as an experience for even my children is a great opportunity for them to learn. So yes, I'm a true believer in sports.
Paralympics and a bit about HRX.
Well, that is an entirely different conversation because it really is something that touches me very, very deeply. Paralympics and HRX supporting it. HRX being something that I want to create as a platform that will help to enable and empower the youth, the children, the grandmothers, uncles, the aunties, everyone. I want to, and I know I can. I know that it's possible. I want them to have the education that I think I have gained to make a change. Everybody that I meet wants to change some part of their lives. The simplest ones are the ones who want to either get into shape or lose weight. But most of them, and all of them actually, 99.9% of them want to change some part of their life that they can't even ask someone to help with. Those are the people, the 99.9% of them. Those are the people that I want to enable and empower through HRX. It's a huge dream, but as I said, I'm somebody who believes in dreams and believes that they can manifest. I'm very proud of the entire team of HRX. We have the kind of success that we have seen in such a short while is absolutely tremendous and heartening and very reaffirming that we are on the right track. And HRX for me is a symbol. Is a symbol that I look up to. It's not me. It's not me at all. In fact, it is the best version of any one of us. That's what the symbol stands for. It's for being the best version of yourself, whoever you are. So I look up to it. It's like for me, it's like my krish or like how Batman has his sign, that the one that goes up into the sky and lights up, and he has to, wherever he is, he has to bloody be that superhero and come and save. So whenever I'm down, whenever I'm I feel like I can't do this, that sign comes on. So it's something that I just have to do now. When I'm confronted with a monster that I feel is undefeatable, HRX triggers something inside me, and I start using, the power, the mental muscle, whatever you want to call it, to see my objective. And the best part of it is that it makes me leap. It makes me leap in faith that I'm going to be carried, and becoming the example of the fact that it works puts me in a very responsible situation, a responsible place. Now it's become a kind of a responsibility. I have to give back. I have to contribute this to my children, to the children of the world. I want them to know that anything and everything is possible. Do not let your fears hold you back. Dream on. There's a lot that a person can achieve if he just puts his mind to it. Words, we've read all these and seen all these words. I want to give them the practical examples of it so that they can actually apply.
Thank you for your time, patience, and energy. It was wonderful. Thank you for being on radio.
Thank you, Hrithik.